Developmental milestones. They are, without a doubt, one of the most fundamental tools in a pediatrician's toolkit. Think of it like a map, one that tracks a child's incredible journey from day 1 all the way to age 5. In this explainer, we're going to break down that map because knowing how to read it is absolutely essential for clinical practice and for spotting when a child might need a little extra support.
So that's the big question, right? How do we take this amazing, complex process and track it in a way that makes sense? How do we really know if a child is on the right track? Well, the answer lies in understanding developmental milestones.
At their core, developmental milestones are just the key skills kids pick up as they grow. And we're not just talking about big things like taking a first step. We're talking about everything: how they play, learn, speak, and move. These are the signposts on the outside that tell us a child's nervous system is maturing just like we'd expect on the inside.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with why these milestones are so critical. Then we'll get into the basic rules of development. After that, we'll walk through the key stages: the first year, the toddler years, and the preschool years. And we'll wrap up with the really important stuff: red flags and what to do about them.
All right, first up, let's put this into a clinical context. Monitoring a child's development isn't just about casually watching them play. It's a core part of pediatric care, and it involves two very distinct but related activities: surveillance and screening.
And this is a really key distinction to make. Think of surveillance as the art of pediatrics. It's that skilled observation you're doing at every single well-child visit. Screening, on the other hand, is the science. That's when we use standardized objective tools at specific ages, like 9, 18, and 24 months, to get a clear, unbiased look. You absolutely need both to catch potential delays early.
So, how does all this growth and learning actually happen? It's not a random free-for-all. Child development follows very predictable patterns, and these patterns are governed by a set of fundamental principles.
These are the rules of the game. Development is a continuous process, and while every kid has their own pace, the sequence of milestones is pretty much universal. Two concepts here are absolutely critical. Development is cephalocaudal, which means it progresses from head to toe. That's why a baby gets head control way before they can walk. And it's also proximodistal, meaning it moves from the center of the body outwards. So an infant gets control of their torso before they can master that delicate pincer grasp with their fingers.
Okay, let's dive into the specifics, starting with that incredible first year. This is a period of absolutely mind-blowing change, where the foundation for every future skill gets put into place.
Just look at this gross motor timeline. It all kicks off with gaining head control around 3 months. From there, they learn to roll over, which totally opens up their world. By 6 to 8 months, they're sitting up on their own, which frees up their hands to start exploring. That leads to crawling, then pulling up to stand, and finally, around their first birthday, taking those amazing first independent steps. You can see how each skill builds right on top of the last one.
And at the same time, their fine motor skills are getting more and more refined. The pincer grasp is the perfect example. At 9 months, a baby kind of rakes at an object with the sides of their finger and thumb. But by 12 months, that evolves into this incredibly precise grasp using the very tips of their thumb and forefinger. It's a huge deal for self-feeding and exploring everything around them.
And then there's language. Oh my gosh, it starts with those little coos, and then around 6 months progresses to babbling with consonants. By 9 months, you start hearing those classic mama and dada sounds, even if they don't know what they mean yet. And then, boom, right around their first birthday, those sounds turn into real, meaningful words. It's just a beautiful, predictable sequence.
Now we're entering the toddler years. With all this new mobility and language, this stage is all about exploring the world, fighting for independence, and, let's be real, a few epic tantrums. This table gives us a great snapshot of this age. Their gross motor skills just explode. They're running by 18 months and figuring out stairs by age 2. You can see their fine motor skills in action with block building. A tower of 3 blocks at 18 months becomes a 6-block tower by age 2. And check out the language. A great rule of thumb is that the number of words in a sentence often matches their age and years. So 2-word sentences at 2, 3-word sentences at 3.
A really key social milestone you'll see here is something called parallel play. You'll see 2 toddlers in a room playing right next to each other, but not really with each other. They're each in their own little world. Now, this isn't them being antisocial. It's actually a super important developmental bridge that they have to cross before they can get to the more complex cooperative play that comes later.
All right, next up, the preschool years. This is where we start to see a serious refinement of skills and the beginning of really complex social interactions. These kids are getting ready for the big world of school.
I mean, just look at the sophistication here. They're mastering tricycles, hopping on one foot. Their fine motor skills are so advanced they can copy shapes, a circle at 3, a cross at 4. Language becomes this amazing tool for curiosity with those endless why questions, and they can start telling simple stories. And socially, they finally move from that parallel play to true cooperative play, where they're learning to share, take turns, and play together.
Okay, we've mapped out the typical journey, but probably the most important part of our job as clinicians is knowing when a child might be veering off that path. And that brings us to red flags.
So knowing the warning signs is absolutely crucial. This table shows some of the big ones, the ones you just cannot miss. For example, a child not walking by 18 months, or not using 2-word phrases by 24 months. Another huge one is the loss of a skill they used to have. These are signals that demand immediate, further evaluation. No waiting.
And this, right here, is where our screening tools become so vital. Tools like the Denver Developmental Screening Test or the MCHAT for autism risk are what allow us to move from just a general concern to a real objective assessment that tells us what to do next.
When a concern does come up, whether it's from you or a parent, the pathway forward is actually pretty clear. Step 1, you have a serious talk with the parents and share your observations. Step 2, you refer to a specialist, like a developmental pediatrician. And Step 3, you get them in touch with your state's early intervention program. These things can happen at the same time, and it's so important for getting that child the help they need as fast as possible.
This quote from the CDC really just says it all, doesn't it? We have to empower parents. They are the true experts on their own child. Our job is to listen to them, to take their concerns seriously, and to partner with them to act early, because we know that early intervention can make a world of difference.
And here we are, a full, comprehensive summary. This is your high-yield chart, your go-to guide for rapid recall, whether you're on the wards or cramming for an exam. It brings together all the key milestones across gross motor, fine motor, language, and social domains all in one place.
So we'll leave you with this to think about. Understanding this developmental map, it's not just about checking boxes or catching delays. It's about appreciating the incredible, intricate process of becoming a person. So how can we use this knowledge not just to screen, but to support, to nurture, and to truly advocate for every single child to reach their absolute fullest potential?